What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, taking a look at the first figure that I've gotten a hold of in the latest Black Widow wave, the Crimson Dynamo wave, and yet another movie figure that I didn't expect to get, but when I saw him in person, I could not resist this one because, frankly, it looks awesome, whether it's an MCU figure or not. And you know that I don't really get into MCU stuff all that much when it comes to toys. So today we're taking a look at the latest and greatest Taskmaster. So I've got the other two from Hasbro, so I figured we might as well get this one as well. We've got him here in the standard packaging for Marvel Legends, of course. Figure in the window, Black Widow logo on the bottom. You've got some artwork of Taskmaster on the side, and then a different shot of Taskmaster on the back with a very tiny write-up and a lineup for this wave. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our MCU Taskmaster figure. So this guy is a little bit different. He certainly evokes that Taskmaster look, while at the same time being very much more of a real-world type of thing with what looks like a very futuristic suit of armor. But you've got kind of that telltale hood there, a little bit of a skull idea going on with this mask. So it's hard to think that this isn't Taskmaster, but he's definitely a little bit removed from your classic figure. That said, I think this is a pretty cool looking design. I really like this. Obviously, I bought it, and I don't do MCU stuff all that much, so that says a lot. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He's kind of standard, but there is some weird stuff going on here too. So you've got a head that cannot really look up. It can kick back one notch, so to speak, but the hood gets in the way. He can look down pretty good. And then you've got really no bobble, but you've got full rotation. The arms go out. They go out a little further than this, but you're going to have to work with this shoulder cap. So if you don't want to jack it up, you know, kind of watch how far, maybe about that far. They do go all the way around. You do have a butterfly joint. They are pretty minimal, but they are there. You've got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. But what's really interesting is that these elbows are a little bit odd. They kick backwards too, which, I mean, that's not normal. My elbow does not do that. So you've got that, and then you've got rotation, and you've got hinges at the wrist. He's got an ab crunch that goes forward really well, but he does look really goofy on the backside when you do that. And then he goes backwards only a little bit. There is a waist twist there. Legs go out basically to the splits, but you've got these pouches to kind of deal with. They don't really get in the way too much. Kick forward almost 90 degrees, kick backwards a little bit. Of course, there's a thigh cut hidden really well by these pads here. You've got your double jointed knees, and then there is no boot cut there, but you've got rocker and you've got hinges at those ankles. So he is pretty standard. He doesn't really have any of the more modern articulation, if that's the best way to say it. So there's no diaphragm cut or anything like that, but he still moves around and has a lot of posability. Now, undoubtedly, my main interest in this figure was always going to be the looks. This figure looks cool. That's really what it came down to. When I saw him on the shelf, I didn't even hesitate. I grabbed him. We had to get this guy home. This figure just looks cool. It has a great design. It very much still looks Taskmaster-y. It's definitely not the classic or the udon, but you can see influences from both in many ways. So that classic blue color, you've got his kind of telltale orange, the hood, the slight skeletal features of the mask. He's got this very tactical, futuristic style, like light body armor suit almost going on. So there's a lot of plating, but it doesn't make him any less agile or any less mobile as far as an action figure goes. You do have this kind of rubbery belt piece here. Paint applications on this guy are really good, from the kind of slightly darker metallic gray, silver, to the blues, to the oranges. Not a whole lot of fuzziness going on from the lines, maybe a little bit here and there around the pec area. Not a great deal going on the back, but that's not a huge thing. There is a tremendous amount of texture on the back though, so maybe, you know, the actual non-armored parts of the body here with the kind of weave that's going on with the legs, straps, things like that. And he just looks really cool. The design translates exceptionally well into figure form. I do like the way that they implemented this hood. It definitely looks very odd from the back because you've just got a hood with these kind of straps here, but from the front it still gives that very Taskmaster vibe. So you've got this slightly folded over wrap that sits over his neck area, and then you've got the hood, which has a pretty solid amount of paint applications on it. It hangs pretty well. It doesn't really get in the way of the head sculpt. Colors are nice and vibrant, but I do think my favorite aspect of this entire suit is the mask. Now, I'm sure that the main reason why he isn't straight up skeletal is likely so that they don't have to worry about getting in trouble in China when it comes to, or well, if it ever came to this thing being shown in theaters, because they have that weird rule about skeletons or whatever, and their big predisposition towards them. So we've got some definitive, very musculature designs here almost, but you can sort of see like skeletal teeth, the almost skeletal nose aspect of it. So there's some pretty definitive Taskmaster vibes going on here. It just is different. It's very MCU, it's very modern, while at the same time having a little bit of a futuristic look. Dig the big black lenses there for the mask. It's just a cool design, and this really stark silver contrasts pretty nicely next to the duller, darker gray silver, and then the blue and the orange. Now for accessories, this guy does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece, but it's certainly made up for by all this stuff in the box. So to begin with, we have got a couple of extra hands. So as you can see, he's holding a sword now. He does come with a trigger finger style hand, and he also comes with a standard gripping hand. You've got a couple of kind of monstrous looking, almost clawed hands. So these are open style pose hands. Is this telling us something about him? Because these definitely do not look like your normal human hands. Or is this a feature of this suit? Who knows? We've got a very Udon Taskmaster style looking sword. It's not a lightsaber or anything, but it looks like that in terms of design. We've got a very Taskmaster looking shield. This is a little smaller than the previous Taskmaster figures. It's a little bit more tactical, done up in the silver and the gray. And then we've got this guy here. So we've got a tactical kind of bow done up in more of that kind of dark gray with the orange accents, a lot of sculpt, great detail on this thing. And then you've also got a singular arrow for this as well. So he comes fully loaded. There's really not a lot more you could ask for out of this one except for maybe a gun. But if you're like me, you've probably got a bunch of those laying around anyway. Otherwise though, this guy is just packed to the gills. And then, of course, we have to do a comparison between our new Taskmaster and our previous two Taskmaster figures from Hasbro. So we've got our Udon Taskmaster and we've got our more classic style figure. And you can see they are wildly different, despite the fact that there are a few things here and there that stand out as being quite similar. So the color scheme from the classic Taskmaster, the skeletal mask from the silver skeletal mask from the Udon style Taskmaster, the more silver accents from the Udon Taskmaster, this style of sword, things like that. So they are all wildly different while still retaining a little thing here and there that kind of makes you remember, yes, this guy is Taskmaster and he does take influence from some of the previous comic designs. So yeah, this is probably the winning figure of the wave for me. Now, I say that not having the rest of them as of this review, and I don't want almost all of them. So this guy is definitely one of them to get as far as I'm concerned because he just translates into figure form really, really well. The design is cool, the paint applications are great, the colors are great on this figure, and he still retains a lot of that classic Taskmaster look and feel while still being very much a definitive MCU design, but you can see hints of those classic designs in here, and I really like that when they're able to translate that stuff into this while being something a little bit different. And like I've said, I don't really get into MCU figures all that much unless there's something I think is a really cool figure, and this guy is just that. He translates into figure form really well and just works. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Crimson Dynamo Wave Taskmaster. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.